Hello mga kababayan, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Laruan ni Obi-Wan. For this afternoon's review, we're going to take a look at DC Multiverse by Mcfarlane. This is the Crime Syndicate OwlMan. So finally, I have my hands on the equivalent of Batman in an alternate Earth. So let's take this figure out of packaging, and really excited to discover the details and points of articulation of this figure. So for the contents of our purchase, we have the Build-A-Figure parts of Starro the Conqueror, we have the Owlman figure, the trading card, and the figure stand. As for accessories that or gadgets that could possibly used with Owlman, Mcfarlane Toys did not give us any. So we are ready to discuss articulation points on this action figure. So let's start with the head area. As for the head, so side to side motion, okay, a little bit of rocking motion, just a little bit, but with head tilts. That is where this head sculpt is going to suffer, because there is about just 2 cm or 1.5 cm of head tilts. So even if you try to situate the pegs of the head area and on the neck area to accommodate for looking up motion or looking down motion, it's just not there. So that headpiece is more for just side to side motion. So moving towards the body of the figure, on the diaphragm area we have a ball, and on the waistline we also have a ball. So each articulation point for the body is independent of each other, and when you try to move or rotate or do a certain motion of possibly this kind of bend, each would articulate according to the way you would move it. So nice touch, and it's really nice and smooth. When I took this out of packaging, I did not have to apply heat or hot water just to loosen up the joints. This is good immediately for play, but of course it's going to be subjective because your copy might be different from the one that I have. Anyway, so moving towards the shoulder area, we have this point of the cape, which would hinder the rotation of the whole arm. But with regards to moving the whole arm sideways this way, so as you could see, it is still actually a nice lift of both of the arms, that you could possibly have a hanging motion like this, or he just leaped from his plane or from a high position and is ready to pounce at Batman with all of those pointed claws on his glove. So really nicely articulating figure, I mean. So let's move towards the other parts or articulation parts of the arm area. So for the bicep, we have rotation on the bicep. We have 2 points of articulation for the elbow, and as usual, we have a very ugly elbow bend, but somehow that is quite hidden because of the matte black color of the figure. And the glove area actually is really long, that it reaches up to the end of the forearm, up to the articulating point of the elbow. So you won't really notice this thing. Okay, so for the hands, The ball on the hands for articulation points for the hinge and rotation is nicely hidden or nestled in between the glove and the hand. So we really can't see much of the that globe of a connection point compared to the other figures that Mcfarlane has put out, especially the older version of Dr. Fate, which is really a big globe which is hanging on the sand section. But this is really nice and clean, and even if it is really seated deeply, the articulation points does not suffer. So moving towards the leg, we also have good articulation points on the leg of this figure. So just like the Page Puncher's Superman, which I really enjoy, look at how much articulation is available. So look at that. So even if we don't have much articulation or tilts for the head, this area, two areas over here, the abdomen and the waistline, would somehow compensate for a really nice pose. Okay, so for the thigh rotation, really nice thigh rotation, just like the Page Puncher's Superman, nicely articulating. And for the elbow, the knee bends, nice and clean because of the knee guard. You have a knee guard which somehow breaks the bend of the knee, and it compensates for the knee bend. And but if this was missing, it's going to be a really ugly bend. So because of the knee guard, somehow we have a really nice clean knee bend. For the boot, we have a hinge for raising the leg. We also have rotation and a rocker motion. And of course, we have toe articulation. And let's move towards the details on the figure. So we have two major colors on these figures. It's going to be just gray, a bright colored gray. So this figure will really stand out even if you place it with other figures on your display, because of how bright that gray color is. So this figure won't be drowned out by the other figures that you have on display. Plus, the black on this figure is not glossy black, it's matte black. So that's it. It's a really nice color combination. So the other color that we have on this figure too would be the yellow, and of course a flesh color for the face. But for the yellow, it is nice and uniform. So as you could see, the yellow color on the belt buckle, the chest symbol, and on the eye sockets are actually the same. So really nice touch. So let's take a look at the glove. So for the fingers, those are individual fingers instead of a clumped up hand like this, which other Mcfarlane figures have. This is separate fingers, and we would have closed for each of the finger. As for the belt, we have 12 pockets all in all. They are of significant size, but somehow I wish that the front front pockets would be small and the back pockets would be bigger to store large items or gear. But the pockets on the belt are uniform from the back to the front, same size, and 12 in total. So let's take a look at the boot, which is also nicely detailed. And we have threads at the end of the foot for the boot. So really nice touch. And of course we have toe articulation. So a really nicely detailed figure, and it's also good in articulation points except for the head. And we don't have any accessories or gear that this OwlMan could hold on to. So well, I guess you just have to share some of the Mcfarlane Batman accessories that you have on board. Actually, this could be marketed as a separate piece or a figure without this Taro build-up piece, and it's still going to sell because of how this figure is really nicely detailed and executed in toy form. It's like as if this figure jumped out of the movie. So really enjoying this purchase of this OwlMan figure. So if you see this figure on pegs, don't hesitate to really grab your copy. Okay, so the last item that you're really going to enjoy on this figure would be the detail on the cape. So look at that. So sometimes for the Batman figures produced by Mcfarlane, it's going to be just drab plain with just the line marks for the possibly detail on the folds on the cape, but not like this wherein we have similarly feather-like design all throughout. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's go to the photos and the video shots.